Hello. I got my laptop back finally. So I can do the kind of stream that I want to do. Not while I'm having to play Red Dead Redemption 2, because this is so much better for everybody. But yes, Cinnabar Nick here, and I am back talking about BB23. and and this week has been uh, I'd say I was about to say an emotional roller coaster, but that would imply that there have been positive emotions. There really have not been at all. It's just been it's just been mess. So yeah, let's just get into it. Oh, I have one viewer already. Hello. Um, so before um, before the veto meeting happens, because that's really when everything went wrong. Uh, Derek F and Kyland were talking, and Kyland had let Derek F know that he was thinking of putting Brittany up as the replacement nominee. And Derek F says that he thinks Ozza would vote to keep Brittany. And Kylan's like, well, they still have the numbers. And I'm just like, not if the people not in the cookout rally. So, yeah, I don't think Derek F really did the math properly on that one. But let's get to the veto meeting. It was on tonight's episode. Well, part of it. The the lead up to it, but then it decided to end on another cliffhanger. Like, really? 2 weeks in a row you're doing this? Like, who was this for? Who was asking for this? It's really stupid that they've done this 2 weeks in a row. But the replacement nominee is Brittany. And, I mean, we didn't see the veto meeting tonight, but Brittany was already not taking it well, just the possibility of it. And and she took it brutally. Absolutely brutally. She was devastated. And, Derek F plays up that he was betrayed, but he knew. And it's like, you gotta stop. And also, I'm sorry, Derek F is a little too free with the B word. I don't know. It's not the best look, in my opinion. So yeah, Brittany is upset that she's there, but in all honesty, Brittany is in this position because she hasn't made a lot of connections outside the Jokers. Like, it's her, Derek F, and Ozza talking game. Brittany doesn't really talk to too many other people. And it's like, you're kind of doing this to yourself at this point. You could have been playing more of a social game. Milk, by the way, if you were curious. Derek F, I thought this was pretty stupid. Derek F tells Ozza that he will sabotage himself. And Ozza's like, you can't. Now, I think she was saying that to be like, come on, you can't do that. Like, you shouldn't do that. But no, I think it's like he literally cannot. Because I don't think there's anything that he could do that would make the cookout change their mind and get rid of him. Also, Derek F., you met Brittany 6 weeks ago. And you're going to throw away $750,000 for her? Really? It's just like the Jokers are just too ready to jump on the sword for each other. I mean, he did it just by nominating himself to start with to try and protect Brittany. But of course, that didn't even matter in the end. And yeah, it's just like Derek F. You can't just throw your game away like that. You can't be that willing to throw it away. And also, like, I don't know. He talks so much about what he's gonna do, and he never follows through. I mean, he talks about how he's gonna win HOH and make all these big moves. He can't win anything. He can't win a luck comp. And I watched him in OTEP tonight. He was it was funny watching him fall on his face, but that's because I'm kind of sadistic like that. Is that mean? I don't know. Probably. And Hannah, I mean, I love Hannah, but she said that Kyland is the next house target, and the cookout can't really protect him. And I'm just like, the cookout is the house at this point. There's 6 of the 11 people remaining, and odds are after later today, because it's officially Thursday here on the East Coast, um, it's going to be 6-4. I mean, I guess she was saying that like they can't keep the cookout hidden. That might have been what she meant if they don't target him. But it's just about at the point where it doesn't really matter. Like Derek X is the only real threat to the cookout at this point. But I've said before that I don't think the cookout really wants to lose him too much, other than Xavier. He kind of wants to lose him, and a little bit Kyland. And oh god. Now, at first, when everybody was turning on Kylan, I'm like, why? I don't see what he's done. Like, yeah, okay, he's close with Sarah Beth, but I don't see what she did to make everybody hate her either. Like, they're just kind of close to each other, all right? And I'm like, it's so what? They're friendly with each other. Why is that a problem to you? So I was very hesitant to get on the Kylan hate train, but I'm just about there, I think, because Kyland is talking to her after he nominates her, and he's trying to give her like no, not tips on how to campaign. He's trying to tell her how to campaign. Like, just don't bring me into it. And I'm like, why wouldn't she? I mean, if anything, she might not have before, and then you just inspired her to do that. And sure enough, afterwards, she's like, "No, I'm not listening to you," because no one is acknowledging Kyland anymore. Like anything he says, everyone just wants to do the opposite because they all are just so done with him. And she decides that her campaign will be against Kyland instead of Derek F. And not even just a campaign as to be like, oh, this is why I should stay. But no, it's like she's just so done with Kyland. Although to be honest, like I made this note um, probably Tuesday, and you know, or actually maybe it was Monday night, but still, it's like I don't really feel like I've seen Brittany do that too much because honestly, it feels like 90% of Brittany's campaigning has been to Ozza. Like there are other people in this house that you have a very real shot of flipping because there is some suspicion that the cookout exists, particularly in Derek X and Claire. And they could potentially, like, if they get Sarah Beth and Alyssa on their side, and if Ozza throws a pity vote, like, she votes Derek F out of pity towards Brittany, then the vote could flip. But no. That's not what Brittany's doing. Brittany is campaigning to Ozza. And she's just like, screw everybody else. Good luck with that, Brittany. Really, good luck. Um, Derek X, he's talking to Tiffany. He said that he is saving his money for the coup d'etat, what is essentially the coup d'etat, to make a big move. But he didn't say who. And I'm trying to think if it's possibly Xavier. Because, you know, Xavier's playing a pretty laid back game, but, like, he's just like he's like an alligator laying in wait for the right moment to just snap right at you. Like, Xavier is playing a better game than I think a lot of people give him credit for, even if it's not the most exciting to watch. But it's good because he is well positioned in the house. So yeah, him going after Xavier, that would be pretty interesting. I don't know if it'd work. He'd have to put up two cookout members for it to even be possible, and it may not even work. Depends on who he's up against. Like, to be honest, I think the only person in the cookout that Xavier would leave over would be Tiffany. But Derek X isn't going to put Tiffany up. He's really close to her. But yeah, he says that he's saving up his money for that, and I hope he gets the chance because Xavier and Kyland have been talking a lot about Derek X possibly needing to go soon before he can get that kind of power. And look, on a game level, I get it. It's the right move for their game. But I don't want it to happen. But I mean, Xavier and Kylan, they're like, Derek X should go either next or just as soon as possible. And if he goes next, he can't play for the coup d'etat, the coin flip thing. Again, I get why they're saying that, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. And also, like, I'm just telling you right now, when it comes time to vote for America's favorite, all of my votes from all of my devices on every possible day, they are all going to Derek X. I'm just telling you right now, that's what's going to happen. So Ozza and Derek F are talking. Shocker. Ozza says if she wins HOH, because she's totally going to win HOH at some point, the way she's playing. She says that because of this roulette thing that's coming up, that's going to be in play starting um, this next HOH reign. Um, she says that she would nominate two members of the cookout because of the roulette. Like, put two cookout members up, let the roulette come into play. Someone else goes up, one of them comes down. Of course, Derek F is like, that's pretty risky because it could backfire. She probably wouldn't put up Derek F, but it could end up being him. This roulette thing has a very real possibility of just ruining someone's game entirely. Someone who is in a good position, and it just screws them. Hannah and Tiffany, they talk about how it seems that Derek X and Claire are starting to catch on to the cookouts. And look, Derek X and Claire are very smart players. And I I still think Hannah and Tiffany would be better off making a Final Four with Derek X and Claire. Because Derek X and Claire absolutely would work with them to get to the Final Four. They wouldn't betray them before then. They wouldn't take them out. Tiffany, I think, could get, like, if the cookout is the final six, I think Tiffany could get to the final four. Hannah, I don't know. It depends on who gets HOH when. I feel like possibly Tiffany might be in jeopardy if Kyland were to win the first HOH when it's just down to the cookout. I think he would probably put up uh, Tiffany and Ozza, and I think Ozza would actually go in that case, unless she won the veto for herself. But if Ozza were to win HOH at Final Six and Final Six is all cookout, I think she would probably put up. I think she would put up Hannah and Tiffany, to be honest. Okay, maybe Kyland. I think okay, she put up Kyland and Hannah, and if one of them came off the block, I think she put up Tiffany. Because I mean, it seems like Ozza is on board with just going to the end with Derek F and Xavier, and that would be a pretty lame final three. I think. I mean, I think Xavier does have potential to play a much more cutthroat game. Like he's just kind of playing it kind of cool so far. But I mean, the time will come when it's like you have to start doing a little bit more. Derek F, I don't see him winning anything ever this whole season. And Ozza, I don't know. I just she is not playing very hard. And I think both Ozza and Derek F are gonna coast a little farther than they deserve to finish. The only chance I think would be if Claire wins the next HOH and she gets one of them out. Although I think if Claire wins, she'd probably go for Kyland. And Derek X tells Hannah and Tiffany that he's going to try to convince Kyland to save Brittany and send Derek F home. And of course, Hannah and Tiffany are in the cookout with Derek F. And I'm a little worried that Derek X is shooting himself in the foot as a result of telling them about this. But I do still hold out hope for him, just from the fact that they they both seem to like him certainly more than Kylan at this point. And Derek F and Ozza, they're just so in their own heads. Like Derek X actually works with them more. So hopefully it won't just take him out right away. I mean, like that was my initial thought, but Tiffany and Hannah are later talking, and Tiffany says to Hannah that cutting Derek X isn't best for the women of the cookout. It's best for the men of the cookout. Because then the men of the cookout will just basically run the season. And they do discuss the possibility of going to the final three with Derek X. I don't know if it'd happen, but man, would I love it. I really would. Okay. Now, yeah, I made a note of this because it annoyed me and it annoyed everybody. Kylan was talking to Brittany and said that, like, they had a deal with each other. And it was shown on the episode tonight that, like, if Kylan kept Brittany safe, she would not nominate him for 2 weeks. And he's trying to go for like there was a miscommunication, but he doesn't say miscommunication. Or at least if he did, it got drowned out by the fact that he said lack of comprehension. Dude, no. You just you can't talk like that. It's not a good look. Like, it just makes you look like a total snob. And it's like, and Brittany was like, "Are you kidding me? I have a master's degree. I'm a teacher. What do you mean lack of comprehension?" So yeah, that to me is the dumbest thing Kylan has said. And like I had found his and Claire's Twitter pages, and I followed both of them. And after he said that, I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go unfollow Kylan now. I don't think I need him on my timeline. I still follow Claire though. I have seen Tiffany's and Derek X's, but they're not very active. Like they weren't active even really before. Like not for a while before the season started. So maybe afterwards. But like Claire, that's being kept up to date by her friends, and it's very enjoyable. And finally, Derek X and Kylan talking. Derek X basically tells Kylan what we've all been thinking. Like Kylan's reason for targeting Brittany is that she's unpredictable. And look, not entirely wrong, because she is a little bit unpredictable. But Derek X finds it kind of funny that Kylan feels that way when his whole week has been not just unpredictable, but chaos. He's just been all over the place. No one really knows what his game is at this point. And, like, I feel like Kyland has probably lost 5 jury votes just in this HOH reign. He really has. He has just made so many mistakes. He has made such a mess. It's like, dude, what are you doing? And I do want to talk about like the fact that he chose to nominate Brittany. Um, I think that was actually the worst move he could have made in that moment. Like he had 2 better moves. The first better move would be not use the veto and convince Alyssa not to use the veto because like she said like Kyland, you let me have this veto, then I I will do what you want with it. And it's like, Alyssa, you didn't even need to ask him to hand this to you. You finished first every time in OTEV. She found it first and was the first one up the ramp. Every single time. So she didn't even need to convince him to throw it to her. And like if Kylan had just gone for it himself, then like he didn't want Claire to have it because like I guess he wanted to use the veto on her, but he didn't want her to get it and win it for herself because she had bet on him. And I'm like, are you trying to be her hero here? She's already kind of done with you. She will like you more if you win the veto and she gets that second veto. And then she can save herself. You can put up Alyssa without breaking your agreement to Brittany, and boom. Nice, easy week in the end. Sure, you made a mess so far, but like he could have been able to salvage it with that. Like if he had just at least tried to win the veto for himself. So that was the first move that he could have made. He could have chosen to not use it and left Claire and Derek F on the block and convinced Alyssa not to use hers. Or the other move he could have done, which I would not have enjoyed because it would have made me sad, but on a game level, I would have, in time, probably grown to respect, is that he could have tried to backdoor Derek X. And, you know, it'd just be like doing the same thing to Derek X that Derek X did to Christian last week. like a super backdoor. He didn't even get the chance to play an HOH to save himself because he was the previous HOH and he couldn't compete. But no, he didn't do that. He decided to put up Brittany and break their agreement and make everyone look at him funny. And yeah, this if the cookout is smart, they will take Kyland. They will want to take Kyland to the final two with them because they will probably beat him unanimously. That's what I think. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on tonight's episode and Kylan's decision. Like I got to see the full extent of it and realized just how bad of a decision he made by targeting Brittany. But after this was I forget if this was Tuesday or Wednesday, but Xavier says that him and Kylan and Derek X shouldn't target each other because of the twists, and there could be a possible battle back at some point, and the fact that there's more women in the house than men, and they think the women are gonna work together still. And I'm just like, did no one watch BB-17? That season, the jury was 6 women and 3 men. The final 2 was a man and a woman, and the man won 6-3. He got 4 of the women's votes. He didn't even get all the guys. Like, it does not matter. It really doesn't. And it shouldn't matter. They should all just be like, I've got to vote for the person who played the best game. But we've seen too often that doesn't happen very much. So yeah, I don't know about that one. Like the twists and the battle back, that's valid. But I don't know about the gender thing. But yeah, that's what Xavier says. But then Kylan says that Derek X going next is the priority. Not that I'm happy to hear it, but you could have done it yourself. Sassy sip. Now, Tiffany, she decided when she was talking to Xavier, she's going to try to convince him that Derek X is still a shield for the cookout. Because he would probably be targeted, but would definitely be targeted by Alyssa. Claire and Sarah Beth, they could probably be persuaded to make a big move and take out Derek X, like if they were to realize that they have the support for it. And yeah, Tiffany's just like, the cookout does not need to go for Derek X right now, and I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not ready to lose him. I want him to at least get to 7th place. Because that's about the best I can hope for. Now, Claire and Derek X are talking, and Claire is starting to get suspicious of Tiffany's relationship with Xavier. Because they do tend to talk game a lot. Of course, I have the hiccups now. And yeah, Claire and Derek X have all but said it at this point. But I think they know. They know who's working together. And the two of them agree that keeping Brittany is actually better for their games. And, I mean, in theory, yes, but I'm going to have a hard time making that happen. Because you got to get Alyssa and Sarah Beth on board, and Sarah Beth in particular does not seem all that keen on keeping Brittany. And Alyssa, she'll probably just do what Xavier wants, because with Christian gone, Xavier's her closest ally. Okay, this is something that happened earlier, and it really kind of annoyed me. Ozza is mad at Hannah's vote logic because Hannah was trying to say, I think, if I have it right, Ozza votes to keep Derek F, but Tiffany doesn't. Or no, Ozza votes Derek F. I just wrote Ozza votes DF. That's what I wrote in my memo, but I'm not sure if that votes for him to leave or votes for him to stay. Because, like, between Ozza and Tiffany, I guess would make more sense for um, for Ozza to vote to keep Brittany and Tiffany to vote to keep Derek F. And like I forget which way it went, but Hannah was just trying to make the point that like if our votes aren't the same, then it like keeps us a little more protected. And Oz is mad at it, and she's just like, "You're just making something out of nothing." And I'm like, "That's what you do all the time when you're lying down in the back room with Derek F. talking smack." And it's like all Ozza does, and like I keep trying. Ozza keeps annoying me, and yet I keep coming back around and liking her. But like, and I'll probably get over this one too. But I want to get it on the record as saying Ozza does a lot of criticizing and zero contributing. Like the cookout is carrying her and Derek F. Neither one of them has a single win yet. I don't think either one of them's even come close. And it's like, Ozza, you can't be mad at how other people are playing the game when you are barely playing the game. Like a couple of times, Ozza has done okay in the social aspects of Big Brother. But more often than not, she's in the back room with Derek F. and maybe Brittany. And they're just talking about everyone else. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, Derek F. and Ozza, they would have been perfect Big Brother streamers. You know, they could have just had a talk show about it. Because I think that's what they're made for, more than actually playing Big Brother. So yeah, that's my honest opinion on Ozza at this point. Like, if you want to talk as much smack as you do, you got to play the game a little bit more for me to take it seriously. Yeah, there it is. I went there. I might even get in trouble for that comment if anyone actually decides to watch one of these. I got one viewer, but, you know, they're not talking. Thanks for being here, though. I do appreciate it. Okay, so now that I have gotten through all my notes, it's time to check in on what's been happening, if anything's been happening since since I've been streaming. I'm just seeing a GIF right now of Claire gently sliding down the slide for Otev, and I'm just remembering that there was already a GIF going around of Derek F falling flat on his face, and also him sliding down, and he just goes so fast and he just slams his butt on the log at the end of it. Alright, there's not much on my timeline. So let's hit up good old BB updates. What do they got for me? If anything. Alright, Tiffany and Sarah Beth were talking, and I'm like, can this not be tense? Like, you know, Tiffany, can you just not make it weird afterwards? But Sarah Beth wants to vote out Brittany, and Tiffany wants to vote out Brittany. So it's like, okay, they have common ground here. And Brittany's. I gotta give Brittany credit. She is pitching. Like, at first, yeah, I was thinking, like, she's just doing most of her pitching to Ozza, but, like, today she really started stepping it up. Brittany's even volunteering to be a pawn to Claire and Derek X. Like, once she actually started campaigning, she started making sense. But, like, she just. It's kind of hopeless for her. Like, at best, she can get a tie, because I don't think Asa is going to risk um, the cookout by voting to evict Derek F. Oh, and Claire's saying, like, well, Derek X is like, next week we're drawing lines, and Claire's just like, let's draw ours first. We keep a number on our side. So I think, yeah, I think they want to. I think I'm taking this to mean they want to keep Brittany, possibly. Well, Ozza and Kyland are talking. Let's see how this goes. Ozza's saying, I really want to work on trust. I'm telling you two things, don't tell anybody. And she's telling him that Derek X told Brittany he's voting for her. And Claire told Brittany that she's going to do everything she can for her to stay. Hmm. So Ozza telling him that, that's kind of a big deal. But Ozza saying that she told Brittany she was going to give a vote to her. But she's saying, I'm not going to do that unless I know that Derek F is going to stay. All right. I gotta say, reading some of the updates that are said by Kylan, I have to read them a few times to understand them. Like, I'm typically pretty good at like reading comprehension, but he's so extra with it. He Everything's so methodical. It's like, just stop. Like, I have to go back. Like, okay, does he mean this or does he mean that? And it's it is kind of exhausting. Like, Kylan, I'm trying to be on your side here, or I was trying to be on your side, but you just make this so hard sometimes because you can't just say a sentence. You have to say a soliloquy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't appear as though anything's anything insane is going to happen tomorrow. Like, maybe Derek X and Claire will vote to keep Brittany, but that might be about it. Because Sarah Beth will do what Kylan wants, Alyssa will do what Xavier wants. and Tiffany is not gonna go against the cookout, and Ozza isn't gonna risk it. I think Ozza even could, even if Ozza decides to throw a pity vote Brittany's way and vote to evict Derek F, then it'd still be 5-3 for Brittany to go. So yeah, that's basically where everything stands right now. I'm I'm just so disappointed that Kyland fell from grace as hard as he did. He was one of the most popular people. Like the first week, everyone felt bad for him because Frenchie nominated him for such a stupid reason, and then he won the second HOH and got Frenchie out. It was beautiful. But this week, he's made such a mess of it. He couldn't throw it to Ozza or Tiffany, but he could throw it. He could throw the veto to Alyssa. He couldn't throw HOH to Ozza or Tiffany, but he could throw veto to Alyssa. It's like, why? And like Tiffany and Ozza winning wouldn't have screwed his plans up too much. I mean, he knew they were going to go for Sarah Beth, and he was just kind of like, you got to do what you got to do. But then he decided to win it for himself, and then he couldn't even also win the veto for himself to keep his options open. Like was Alyssa was the other one. Like it was Alyssa and Brittany that were his backup targets, and he made a deal with Brittany. You think he would have tried to work as hard as he could to keep Alyssa from winning, but no, he didn't. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I'm sure that after the season is over, I'll bump into Kylan on the streets of BB Twitter. I'll see something he's written, and I'm like, I like that. I might even give him a retweet here and there. But yeah, I can't imagine he is going to either win the season or win America's favorite at this point. I don't think he was like. I mean, he's never been at the top of the daily polls, but he was top 5 for a while. But now I think he's like, I don't even think he's in the top 10 anymore. Yeah, I wish that Kyland was playing a less chaotic game. For a guy who's as smart as he does seem like a smart guy. So I really don't get why he's playing so stupid. He's just gotten so much blood on his hands this week. And there's no way he has enough jury votes to win. Even if he is in the final two against somebody who is not in the cookout, he probably wouldn't win. Like, let's say it's Kylan versus Derek X in the final two. Derek X would win. Like, Kylan might get Sarah Beth's vote and a few members of the cookout, but I don't think Tiffany would vote for Kylan. I don't think Ozza would vote for Kylan. So yeah, I think Kylan is basically, we're all just kind of waiting for him to go now. We won't be too devastated when he leaves. I think the first chance they get, if the cookout's the final six, he's gone. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and this has been my My first BB23 stream back on my laptop. I'm so happy to have it back. I can do this normally. Again. The way I meant to. But yes, thank you to my one viewer for watching the stream. And thank you if you're watching this on YouTube. That will do it for me, and I will see you next time.